And we're on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mario. I am your host tonight, and this is IDK That's Perfect. And today we have a very special guest. We have Curbside Jones. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for having me. Man.
Yeah, of course. I know this has been an episode that we've been waiting for it to happen, and luckily here we are. And this is also another special episode because it's a more intimate, I guess I would call it, more one-on-one sort of deal, with everybody on a kind of a hiatus. Which is cool. It lets me practice on my journalism.
Yeah, for sure.
So how's your day going? How are you today?
Not bad, man. Off day. Spent it playing some video games, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Stay away from the cold.
You know what? I actually like the cold. I used to live in Germany. For like almost 5 years almost.
Oh shit.
So like
it's
the cold
is there.
Yeah, I like it. You know, I was born there and everything, so like the cold is cool with me.
Yeah, I'm just naturally born Texan, so anything under 80 degrees, I'm shaking.
Oh, that's everybody out here, man.
So for our listeners and viewers who are watching now, would you like to introduce yourself as to who you are for those who may not know?
Yeah. Curbside Jones, producer, songwriter, engineer, graphic designer, photographer. Yeah, all that stuff. Graphic designer. I've been doing music since about 2005.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been doing music since 2005. Photography and all that kind of came later and everything, but yeah. So it's been a while.
That's cool. And I know you just had a project drop this week, right? It's that's the hat you have on too, right? Floating in between.
Yeah. The black one is the one of one. Nobody has this one.
Ooh, that's a rarity. And you're already out of merch, right?
Oh yeah, the merch sold out.
That's an awesome thing. But next time I'm gonna have to cop on payday.
Yeah, for sure.
But tell me about the project, Floating in Between.
Yeah. So Floating in Between kind of started after me and Japanese producer Ballhead. We finished Gyakso Volume 1. And I was talking with Dharma, the producer who produced Floating in Between. I was talking with him on Twitter. And we were just talking back and forth. And then like we started following each other on Instagram. And then he hit me up on Instagram and we started talking. And I was like, yo, it'd be dope if we like did a track. And he was like, yeah, for sure. I can send you some beats and everything. And I was like, all right, for sure. He was going to send me some beats for free. And it's kind of weird how the Japanese cats, I guess, conduct how they give out beats or whatever. Because, like, they send, like, their whole catalog.
Oh,
like,
damn.
It's not like, oh, I made these.
Everything right
Yeah,
then
it's just
there.
everything. And I'm like, dang, bro, you literally sent me everything. There's no tags on these. Like, what is happening?
Oh, shit.
So he's just like,
I would imagine it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, it's for, you can have these for free. And I'm like, nah,
shit.
nah. So I'm sifting through the beats, and I told him, I was like, yo, dude, like, I'll pay you. Like, I'm the type of person I'll pay people, if, I feel like, you put your effort into it and stuff, you should get paid. So I ended up sending him some money for the beats. And then it was originally going to be 2 tracks. And then one of my guys was like, yo, man, you got to make it 3. You got to make it 3 because then I can do a review for it on Bandcamp. You got to do 3. So I was like, all right, cool. So I pushed it, to do the 3rd track. And the idea of the project really was just to kind of do songs with cats that I haven't done songs with yet, or I haven't done songs with in a while. And that's why each track has a feature on it. You got Musa Reams, Chicago artist. I produced 1.5 EPs for him. And then you got Garrett Odom, who used to live in Atlanta. Now he lives in Florida. And me and him haven't done anything since probably 2011.
Oh, so
it's been a good minute. So our styles have changed, a lot since then. So we've been kind of waiting, for that perfect sweet spot. And then you got Japanese rapper Oog, who's on Nigo 93. And me and him actually we have a decent amount of tracks in the vault right now. Me and him.
Ready.
Yeah, so those will be out next year. So, but yeah, the concept is just basically finding a way to talk about real life stuff, but be lyrically technical, and still kind of make it appealing.
Okay.
And that's what the whole idea of Floating in Between is. It's kind of like trying to find that middle ground. Yeah.
How would you, before I give you my opinion, I think your sound is, how would you categorize or label yours? Because I know obviously off the bat I want to call it hip hop, but it's obviously a different sound with different influences.
Okay. How do I describe my sound? I really don't know, man. Like, I think someone once compared me to Booty Brown in The Far Side.
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
No? Okay, yeah. Someone once... Yeah, someone once...
But I have to check that out then right after.
Yeah, someone once compared me to Booty Brown in The Far Side. But, I mean, my inspiration comes from a lot of different places. But I guess I could just say, like, it's hip-hop.
Yeah. Cause me and my obviously I always sit down with my girlfriend and I always go over music with her about like just to have her opinion and we talk about what we think of it or and we do that with all the music we listen to.
Yeah.
And when we were listening to yours, we were talking about it and she gave me to take that to her. It sounded like like a Quemini sort of Outcast vibe, the way the flow is, especially when we were listening to Floating in Between, and it made me think of because like I said off the bat it sounds hip hop. But then you have all these new, like, I don't want to say digital sounds, but it's sort of like
more modern.
Yeah, modern hip hop.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like the take that I had from just listening off of it because it's still roots to it as far as hip hop goes, but it's a next generational sort of deal.
It's funny that you mentioned Aquemini because I feel like on Aquemini, I feel like that was like, I'm not going to say Big Boy in his prime, but he was flowing on that, man. Like, Big Boy, like people always talk about Andre. Andre's great, no doubt. They
disregard Big Boy off the bat.
But Big Boy's flow on Aquemini was very akin to, I would say, like Jay-Z on Reasonable Doubt.
Okay.
Like Jigga with the grill.
Yeah.
And the pockets that he was flowing in on Aquemini is crazy. Like, so I'll take that as a compliment for sure.
Awesome. I'm glad. And going back to, well, I guess before we even go further on, is there any, I know you've already mentioned a few names, but is there a few shout outs you would like to give out there?
Yeah, man. Shout out to my mom and dad. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to all my coworkers who support me. Shout out to my homie Dexter Fizz. Shout out to Phil Blanks. Shout out to Laugh Life out in Japan, Dharma, Ballhead. Yeah, the list is long, but yeah, just shout out to all the homies.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But so, like I was saying, so since we're talking, you and I had already discussed about like what your process was and plans you had obviously before pre-COVID, and so was this project supposed to drop before COVID, or is it something that just kind of worked throughout the whole quarantine and everything we've been through this whole year?
It was kind of like the latter. It was something. It wasn't even really supposed to happen. Gyakso Volume 1 wasn't supposed to happen either. So there was a project that I had started probably, I want to say winter of 2019. The idea for that project was supposed to be fueling a tour that was supposed to happen this year.
Yeah.
Which would have been happening probably like right around now. Out in Japan.
Had it not been.
Messed up the back. But it's good, though. It would have been in Japan. So the homie Dexter Fizz and I, there were some other cats, American cats, that were supposed to be involved in that. But somewhere along the way, cats kind of fell to the side and, they weren't really, about, I guess they didn't really see the vision how we saw the vision. So me and Dexter Fizz pushed on, and then with a Japanese rap group Laugh Life, we worked on some tracks. We ended up with 6 tracks, and we wanted to drop it, but we were like, now is not the best time to drop it because this is something that we really want to tour on. This is something that we want to get like merch for. We're talking about getting vinyls done.
Special project.
Yeah, like this is a big thing. So the idea was I was going to work on it all this year, drop it, but I was like, I have nothing that I have to like put out on my, Yeah. And I was like, in order for me to get my name up in that community, Japanese, hip hop community and stuff like that, like I have to put in the work. Like I have to work with the people. Like I just can't go out there on their soil and be out here rap. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay your dues. So that's how the whole thing with Gyakso started with Ballhead. And then, of course, it kind of snowballed into me doing something with Dharma, which is great because it kind of opened up more doors for me as far as like, on Twitter, I got, Japanese producers hitting me up talking about working, Japanese rappers and stuff like that. Other ones outside of the ones I'm working with. So yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen, but I'm glad it did though.
That's cool. And I think that's very interesting. The fact that obviously you've traveled quite a bit in your lifetime. Yeah. Was it difficult tapping into what it seems like the music scene, and were you like in Japan and out there?
I mean, honestly, all praise due to the homie Dexter Fizz, man. Like he kind of put me on game as far as like with the rappers out there. I had already worked with a Japanese producer back in 2013.
Oh, okay. So you were
yeah, I worked with one back in 2013 who goes by the name of Dilo Think Now. He used to go by Free Design. Who's also does stuff with Baldhead and Dharma now, which is crazy. Things go full circle. But yeah, so that happened off of, I believe it was, I want to say it was SoundCloud or something. I came across his stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I sent him an email and was like, hey, bro, let's work. And then he was like, all right, cool. He sent me 2 beats. And he was like, don't even worry about paying for it. Like, I'm just happy to work. And I was like, all right, cool, for sure. So that was, my first experience with that. And now, working with these cats, it was kind of just me shooting my shot, honestly, because I came across Baldhead, off of YouTube. They do these things called table beats, which is, I don't know how familiar you are with Low End Theory out in LA.
I've heard, is that the record store?
No, Low End Theory is like it's like a residency for like producers and like DJs and stuff. So like all like the up and coming like producers like DiBiase, and you have like cats like Fly Low and all that. Like they did stuff out there, and it's kind of like a weekly thing. They just meet up downtown, and yeah. So I got the opportunity to actually go to one.
Oh, that's cool.
When I was out in LA, it was crazy.
Is it like boiler room sort of deal?
Yeah, it's pretty much like boiler room.
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's pretty much
awesome.
like that, but it's more so geared toward like beats and stuff, like hip hop beats and stuff. Yeah. So they do this thing out there in Kyoto called Table Beats at this famous record store called Jazzy Beats. Out there. So I saw Baldhead. I was kind of had it on in the background because, I kind of was just trying to check it out because I had never watched one before. And I don't know if you've ever like doing something and then you hear something and it just takes you completely out of like what you're doing.
Yeah, it just catches you off guard.
I don't remember what I was doing, but I just remember like turning around and looking at my computer and I was like, yo, what is this? I was like, yo, these beats slap.
It's like when you're in a random playlist and then one of the songs just sticks out like a sword.
I was like, yo, this slaps. I was like, bro, who is this man? So I was like scrolling through the chat because they have like a live chat. Oh, so I'm like scrolling through and I'm like, who is this dude? Who is this dude? And I saw his name, Baldhead. And I was like, yo, all right, cool. Let me do my research. So, every time I come across a new artist, I do research. Like, so I Google or I go on Bandcamp or whatever. So I went on Bandcamp, typed his name in, saw he had beat tapes, bought him up, was jamming it. And I was like, going like fanboying out about it on Twitter. And I was like, yo, this dude's crazy. So then he ended up, I guess, seeing the tweets and then he like tweeted me and was like, yo, thanks. And I was like, all right, word. So then I ended up following him and then he ended up following me back. So then I was like, oh, snap. So I was like, yo, I got to get on one of these beats. So I'm sitting there talking to my wife and I was like, bro, what should I do? Should I just let it wait for a little bit, like 2 weeks, and then shoot my shot or what? She was like, yeah, shoot your shot. What? She was like, the worst he could say is no. So I was like, all right, say less. Shot my shot. Luckily, the homie speaks English. Oh, and
so it just worked out perfectly.
He speaks English. So he was like, yeah, all right, for sure. Let's get it in. And then the same thing with Dharma. He speaks a little bit of English too. The Japanese rap group that we're working with, Laugh Life, one of the members is, he says his English isn't that great, but he's pretty fluent in English. He knows slang and stuff like that. So like it's really easy to talk to him like if there's things that we need so it hasn't been hard. I will say.
And these are all people. Have you met already in person too?
No, I haven't met any of these cats in person. Dexter Fizz though, he's met Laugh Life. He's met that group. He's also met some other cats out there that we've talked about working with. But yeah, shout out to him, man. He's the one that kind of threw the ball in my court, and I kind of just took it and did what I did.
That's awesome, and I'm glad that it seems to be working out because I feel like you're one of it's a rarity the way that you seem to be handling your musical career because it's pretty typical, and it's not saying that it's wrong or bad, a wrong way to do this, but a pretty generic way to do it is just start in your hometown, work with others. Whereas you actually have, I'm sure you've worked with others around town, but you've gone out to a whole other side of the world and just made music, which does not sound bad at all, because like I would imagine it'd be a little difficult working just through online.
Yeah. It's, I always try to tell people it's kind of like, I don't, like you said, like starting at home and then growing it outwards and stuff like that. To me, I feel like that mentality is something that can still happen, but I feel like it needs to happen in a place where the scene is already established in a way, and the people who are behind the scenes are trying to move the culture forward, as opposed to just saying, we discovered this, we were there when this happened. And I think when it starts to get like that, I think that's when you kind of have to take a step back and then kind of assess the situation and be like, all right, cool. I could put all my money, put all my investment in this one spot and hope that it blows, which rarely happens. I don't know if you were like really hip to what like happened in Dallas, like out there, like in their scene a few years back.
And then it died out.
Yeah, you had cats like ADD Plus, you had like the Sore Losers.
Yeah.
And like those are the homies. Like I used to, kick it with them whenever I was in Dallas or, South, but like I knew them, like, so I got to see it firsthand, like see them.
Like they were buzzing out here and doing like FFF and all that stuff, right?
I got to see them start real small and then get real big. And then it's kind of like once they left Dallas,
there was nothing left behind.
You see what I'm saying? And that's not their fault, but it's just like I don't think the scene was ready at the time. I don't think it was ready for like that big explosion.
It wasn't catered enough to be able to leave something behind to where it will stand on its own.
Mm-hmm. So, me, and that's no diss to Austin. Like I've been living in Austin since 2010. So I got to kind of be around like all the rap cats, and, I did an interview one time and I was talking about how like we used to meet up at Complete Clothing. And we used to rap at Complete and stuff, with Z and all of them. Like they just set up stuff and, Soul Fresco. We used to go in Soul Fresco and we used to do the same, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I've been around, I know the cats. I've worked with the cats, you know what I mean? But I've always kind of had this worldly view of like, yo, bro, like there's 8 billion people in this world. 8 billion or close to at this point, like 8 billion people. Like there's no reason why I shouldn't focus on them too,
Yeah, there's obviously a audience out there, but I'm pretty like it's pretty obvious that the Asian culture loves hip hop. They love everything about it.
They do,
and it's a number. I feel like I think it's still the number one genre in the whole world.
It is for sure.
So that is pretty. It's very smart to be like to have that perspective and be like, I'm gonna reach out to every part of the world.
Yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't reach out to every part of the world. Like I just feel like I feel like back in the 90s it was like you had to blow in your city and then that was it. Like that was the only way. But I was like, yo, we got the internet, bro. Like I could like do a track with the cat, you know what I'm saying, in Istanbul. Like if I could find them, you know what I mean? Like I could do that if I wanted to. And a lot of artists' ultimate goal is like, yo, I want to be global. And it's like, all right, cool. If you want to be global, then you gotta do the global work.
Plant your seeds everywhere.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you. Like, if you want to start from here and just build up, like, are cats from those other countries looking to Austin or looking to, I don't know, Orlando or wherever are they looking for music there? Mm-hmm. The only way they're gonna look for music there is if you do music with them. And then they know what Texas is now. They know what Austin is. Yeah, you know what I mean? They know. Because then it's like, okay, cool. I'm working with this cat. He lives out here in this one place. All right, cool. Maybe they'll, they see you collab with other cats and they're like, okay, cool. I know this guy or I know this guy now,
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. That's awesome. And one of the questions that I had for you, aside from flowing in between, what really caught my interest with the way you roll everything now, from the music to the videos to the album covers to artwork, basically, was the storyline. Well, first of all, are you a big Adventure Time fan?
Oh yes, for sure.
That's one that was kind of obvious to me because I like all the characters just everything you have, like it's all a reference. It seems like to Adventure Time.
Yeah. Milk Tea Chronicles was that's what kind of started the whole Adventure Time aesthetic. It was a very interesting time because it was like I was how old was I? I was 27 when I started that, and I had just got married. I was going to Japan for the first time. And I was kind of riding this high because like it was like we had the wedding, and then we had the day after the wedding to chill, and then the next day we were hopping on the plane to go to Japan.
So it was like back to back.
You know what I'm saying, for the honeymoon. So it was like I was riding this high of like just really positive energy. And if you listen to my music before that, it's kind of dark. Like the subject matter, like it's very personal. It's taking, rapping about certain traumas, and taking all that stuff. And it's very dark sounds, dark aesthetic. Like, and then once you get to Milk Tea Chronicles, you see the brightness in everything. Like, you see the yellows, you see the pinks, you see all the colors, the brighter colors, because the music was getting brighter. And that was because I actually sat down and binge watched like all of Adventure Time when I was working on it.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah. So I was binge watching Adventure Time, and Finn just had the
such an optimistic person.
Yeah, that, and then but it's just seeing his growth. Like he had to basically grow up and learn how to mature. You know what I mean? And it's like that's kind of where I was at. I was like, I was getting, I'm married now. I got to be mature. Like I got to be, I got to hold somebody else down besides myself. You know what I mean?
New perspective.
New perspective. And the songs on Adventure Time were all really good, and they were like very deep, and I was like, yo, they're deep but they're catchy at the same time, and they don't all necessarily sound sad. And I was like, yo, I want to do that. Like I want to make music that sounds happy.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then that's kind of where all that aesthetic came from, the Adventure Time stuff and everything. But yeah, shout out to Crystal Face, man. That's the guy who does pretty much all my illustrated artwork. Yeah,
I like it. I'm a big fan of it, especially all the videos and everything. Like even your own little character that he draws out and everything. That's cool. Are you I know at some point I obviously got really into Adventure Time because my daughter was into it when she was a kid, but I've also heard of other parents who are like strictly no on Adventure Time for their kids because of the obvious, I guess, like subliminal messages, if you will, but I know there's that conspiracy behind it where it's like it's post an atomic world or something like that. And one day I got really hooked on that, and I watched like the whole like an hour long YouTube video about it where they like pick everything apart, and like that also like, kind of gave me a new perspective on Adventure Time, and it like kind of like makes you look at it different when you're watching that because you pay attention to, I guess, like the dark side of everything, but it's still a kid's show because it's on the bright side of things at the end of the day,
Bro, Finn and Jake were living in the ghetto, bro.
Yeah.
Like they were like it. Like when you look at it on that level, like it is really some hood stuff, bro. Like the world ended, and you got homie who is a human who got left in the forest by just got abandoned in the forest, got adopted by talking dogs. His brother is a dog.
Yeah.
And now they live together in a tree. Like homies was really out here in the hood. Like, so like
made it out.
Yeah, but they were making the most out of the situation. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, yo, this is just what like we accepted it. This is just what it is. And we just hang out and do, like living day to day.
Enjoy the beauty of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really like, that's the beautiful part of the show because like I said, it just, at the end of the day, there's an upside to everything, which to them, anything that could be going on, like worst case scenario, they're still like either making a joke out of it or just like going along with it. Like
and they're like, we still got each other. You know what I mean? And that's and I think that's a really good message, especially for like guys. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to be vulnerable.
Yes,
with your boys. Like it's okay. You know what I mean?
They make it so like normal to just be like, I love you and just stuff like that. That a lot of the times normally it would not. A lot of people would be like scared to let out or even do it. But
no, I hug all my bros. I hug them. I told them, I said, we're not dapping no more. Like when I see you, I'm hugging you on sight, and that's it. Like you know what I mean?
You have to, because I mean, after everything we've been through alone in just life, like you can't just take anybody for granted. Are you I don't know if it's came out already or not, but I don't know if you saw that like BMO has his own spin-off show now too.
Oh, so me and my wife actually tried to watch that. We had it on. It's on HBO, and we were trying to watch it, and kind of like got wrapped up in doing other stuff. So I never got to actually finish it. But I know they're gonna release more. They're gonna release
like they only have a few episodes out right now.
No, it's not even episodes. It's like a movie almost.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's like a little mini like movie. And I heard they're gonna come out with. I think they were gonna come out with like 4 of them.
Oh,
so like
shit.
I don't know if I want to wait until they
Or until it's all out.
come out with all of them, or just watch one and then have to wait. So I don't know yet.
That's cool. And then I guess the other part, I'm really sorry. There's really loud on my microphone speaking everything up. But the other part I wanted to ask about too was like, so to the Milk Tea Chronicles, obviously the Adventure Time seems to be a huge part of the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, the Glow, did that one come before or after that project?
The Glow came out after.
After.
Yeah, so it goes Milk Tea Chronicles, which is like the OG. Then it goes Milk Tea Chronicle Voicemail Blues, which is like me and the Sheepington go out on an adventure, and we leave SEMO behind, which is the cell phone. We leave SEMO behind, and then like the whole project is kind of like us leaving calls on the voicemail because he's a phone and whatnot. So like and then it goes Milk Tea Chronicles Mad Sheepery, which details we meet back up with SEMO, but then we Sheepington and SEMO get trapped in a portal, and then they get taken basically to like Texas.
Okay.
Where, that's why it has like the screwed music on there and stuff like that. And then the Glow came out. So the Glow is like we made it out of the portal. Well, they made it out of the portal, and now we're back together, and it's like, all right, cool. We got to find that light now. Like we got to get back on track and stuff like that.
Because this is all like post you getting out of that funk that you were writing dark
Mm-hmm.
music, right?
Yep, just finding that's the theme is like find your light, like find what makes you happy, find that positive thing, and like just like whether it be like like mine was finding it in a life partner, finding it in travel again, and like and stuff like that. That could be anything to anybody. So I kind of just wanted to leave that like very open to like whatever that may be. But yeah, it's supposed to be the Glow, and then there was supposed to be a whole nother project that was supposed to come out from the Milk Tea Chronicles series. It's supposed to be produced by the person who produced the Glow. That kind of fell off. So I'm debating on whether I want to pick it back up for 2021 or if I'm just going to kind of leave it where it's at. But
I think it would be interesting to do, especially after everything that's happened, because I'm a big fan of the whole storyline and background to the music. Because even the videos they play in part to everything's going on. So that'd be very interesting to see, I guess, this newfound take post-COVID world.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like making that post-apocalyptic like thing and then coming out of it.
Adventure Time again for the win.
Yeah, that would be tight. But yeah, I've been battling with that idea. I've been talking to some people about it, and they're like, "Yeah, you should do it." Or they're like, if you feel like you've moved on, then you should leave it because they don't want it to get it and then it not be good.
That's true. That's also a good, very good point. Huh? I like that. So I guess like since will it be like a sort of a permanent thing to where like you and your career will continue to work with artists in other countries and stuff like that, or because I myself like I'm a fan of the music and everything, but I'm not. I don't know that you've worked with other people here in the city or even in the country. Is that like a thing that you want to stick to, keep it the same, or keep working with other people outside of the country?
I mean, I worked with a couple cats. I worked with Jake Lloyd. Me and him have worked a good number of times. I've worked with DZ Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on Milk Tea Chronicles Voicemail Blues. I've worked with like producer Corey Arnell. Like I've worked with some cats out here. I wouldn't mind working with more cats here. But I think the issue that I tend to run into when wanting to work with people in this immediate area is, I guess, the difference in styles.
Okay.
And I think that's where the ball drops. Because I've been told that my style is not necessarily common or it's niche?
I mean, I feel like it's just new. It's different, but yeah. I wouldn't be quick to. Obviously, I wouldn't be quick to count it out myself, but I can see what they mean by that. But still, like, I mean, at this point where we're at with music, there's so much new things. I mean, hip hop has so many different spin-offs now at this point that I don't know. That's unfortunate that anybody has said that if it's in a negative way.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to take it. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. But I've always like been the person to like extend a hand. Like I tell cats like all the time, like, yo, bro, like if you want to work, like just come to the crib. Like always, like, yo, you want to work? All right, come to the crib. Like, oh, you want some beats? All right, yeah, for sure, come to the crib. Like, or I can send you some stuff, or just if you come over, like I could just make something from scratch, and like you could just have your own folder, like on my computer, just full of stuff that I make for you. Like I got the setup. Like if you want to record, cool, we can record it. I'll mix it. Like I'll do, you know what I mean? Like if it's, so, for whatever reason, people don't usually take me up on that. I don't know if it's kind of like what I call like a rapper talk. I'm pretty sure you've been to a good number of hip hop shows and have seen how it is when artists get around each other. It's always the dap, and then you stand in a circle, you praise each other on how great you are. And then it usually somewhere in the middle, you're like, all right, yo, we all got to get together, bro. Like we got to make this happen for Austin. We got to make this happen. We got to blow, bro. It's the thing, bro. Like we all too hot to not make it happen, bro. Like if we all just put our heads together, bro, it could happen, bro. And then it happens like that. You dap each other up a couple more times. You compliment each other a couple more times. Somebody offers somebody a drink. Somebody's like, nah, I'm about to go home, fam. And then the circle disperses.
Yeah.
And
nothing happens.
The aftermath, like, yeah, nothing really, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because alcohol is involved. I don't know if because it's something that makes the artists that get together feel like it's mandatory to say that we have to work together. Yeah. I don't know what it is. So locally, like I said, I wouldn't mind working with other cats. I would just like for it to happen very naturally, not
instead of trying to force something that they're
not
feeling or you're not feeling.
Yeah, not in the circle at the hip hop show. I don't want it to spawn from that. I don't, because it just gets really weird. And like I make it a thing now. Like if I do go to a show, I think the last local show I went to was one of Jake Lloyd's shows. This was a while ago, but it's like I try to make it a point to like not get into those conversations because I don't want the relationship to just be on music, because at the end of the day, if that's all we have in common is music, and if that's not happening, then, kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of more of like, I'm just trying to be homies with people. Like if possible, like, hey, let's go out and get something to eat, or, hey, like you play video games, bro, I play video games. Let's play video games. Like, and then if it happens organically from there, then cool. But I don't try to push it. You know what I mean? With the cats in Japan and stuff like that, it was, we had a goal. It was like, yo, we're trying to get out there and we're trying to do this tour and we're trying to have y'all on the bill. Like we're trying to really do this thing. Yeah. And they kind of understood that. But I think the way that they look at creating is different than the way that we look at creating. Because like you said, they really do appreciate the culture. So to them, it's not like something that they can go into and BS around with it. It's like, yo, this is serious. This cat sent me a beat. I need to rap. And I'm going to make sure it's good. I'm going to make sure the quality is good. And I'm going to send it back to them in a timely manner. Like those cats, their turnaround time was insane. Like I've never experienced a turnaround time that fast.
Damn.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's this. And then next thing you know, about 2.5 weeks later, they're like, all right, cool. And then they apologize. They're like, yo, I'm sorry that this took so long. I'm like, bro, I wasn't stressing. I wasn't even expecting you to send this to me. Like there were for floating in between, no diss to Garrett and no diss to the homie Musa, but those are my guys, but they took some time. Like I sent them the tracks in July. I got them back probably like the end of last month or sometime in the middle of this month.
Oh shit. Oh damn.
I sent Oog the verse, the stuff for Nego 93, 2 weeks.
Oh damn.
Hit me back and was like, yo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this took so long. And I'm like, bro, what are you like? No, like,
yeah, I think it's just cultural differences as far as how they see, because I understand that over here hip hop for us is just
it's every day.
yeah.
It's like it's what we grew up with it. Like it's not a foreign concept to us.
No,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like, oh, it's okay. I'll get to the verse when I get to it. I'll get to this when I get to it. Like whatever. But yeah, their work ethic is just crazy. So like I like that. You know what I mean? Because then it gets me inspired because it's like, dang, you got it back this fast. All right, cool. Like that means the next joint I got to send you, like I got to come, correct and stuff like that. So. But like I said, I'm down to work with whoever, man. Like, I work with cats all over the states. Like Dexter Fizz, like that homie, he stays out in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so me and him have been back and forth, sending tracks, collaborating, critiquing, and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish Jay could have came through because he's always down to come and show because he like lives down the street from me.
Oh, word? Yeah.
So he's always down, but he's also always busy.
Yeah, no, Jake is always busy, like always, and I get it. I mean, he's a family man, so I get it. Me and him actually talked because I had said something on Twitter about like wanting to do a project with a local artist, like a collaborative project. And he was like, "Yo," and I was like, "Bro," I said, "It's been a minute. Like it's gonna happen for sure. It's just that like the timing just has to line up.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there any personal faves that you have for around Austin?
Personal faves, a group that I really like that I never really hear anyone bring up in any discussions, which blows me, is Minds of a Different Kind.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I can't remember the main dude's name because I have him as a friend on Facebook, and he's a relative of another friend of mine.
Yeah. That group right there,
lyrical.
That group right there, I'm like, yo, like when I came across them, just randomly on Twitter. And then I heard it, and I was like, that's what's up.
I haven't seen much from them though as of lately.
But from what I was told, they was out in like Europe doing stuff. Like
last time I saw them in concert, they were opening up for Immortal Technique. So that obviously makes sense, but
yeah.
That was years ago. I was like 12 or 13, but yeah, they definitely are a cool group that would. I guess if they were keep doing more stuff, should have gotten more recognition.
Yeah, like the two projects that I've heard from them have been insane. And also I like Boom Baptist, man. Boom Baptist is probably one of my favorite producers out here. I think his ability to switch lanes and go from doing like boom bap, like traditional sounding like stuff and sampling, and then he has that whole funk lane that he jumps into, and like it's like that. I actually met him. It was some years back. I met him. And yeah, he's just such a cool, humble dude, man. So like, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cats that I like out here, man. Like, so I like people think that I'm not aware because I'm not always out and about and stuff like that, but I'm always listening, and stuff like that, trying to find that sweet spot, like that one person or that group or that producer that has a sound that I believe I could mesh well with, or that could mesh well with me. You know what I mean? So I'm always listening.
Are you? I know a lot of concerts are starting to pick up and getting back into motion and trying to go back to normal. Are you thinking? Have you been back to any? Have you been to any shows or been trying to go out or?
Not man. My destinations are work, home, HEB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I spend more time. HEB is the club now.
Yeah.
Like I'm always
we're there like every other day buying dinner.
That's always in HEB. Like that's the club now. That's the spot. But I haven't been to anything. I have watched some online shows. Like people have done like the virtual like live stream shows. Like I have watched those, and I am a fan of those. Mostly because I feel like with having to do like a show in person, you do have some limitations. And this is something that I've been talking to with a couple people about, how these live shows that are being done online, like if people really freak it, like if they really do and they get the right team in there and they get like, 3D animators, you get the VR going, like this could be some crazy, crazy stuff. So like I feel like, you know, leading into the future that these live shows are going to get crazier because someone's going to figure it out. It's probably going to be Travis Scott.
I mean, he did the Fortnite. He did the Fortnite.
Travis Scott's gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure out a way to make this a VR, Astro World, whatever he's gonna do. Yeah. And because you know he got the PlayStation thing now, so it's gonna be some crazy stuff.
Just go to your local McDonald's or something.
You know what I mean? Go to your local McDonald's, put the headset on, and you're in Astro World.
For real.
And so those like have been really great to watch and see. And I'm really excited to see how those develop.
It's really cool because there definitely is a lot of room for creativity.
Yeah,
for the way everybody decides to play. Because I don't know if you watched the KUTX, the breaks,
did.
The Summer Jam, and as everybody else's favorite was when Vintage J pulled out the slab. And brought the slab. That was amazing. That's probably something that he would not have been able to do in this particular time in his career if it wasn't for COVID. But to be able to do that and actually show who he is and show the potential that he has, like it's really cool what people are able to do.
Yeah, it's making you think outside the box. It's turning, because see, that was my whole thing about shows. People were like, oh, Curb, why don't you do shows more? Why don't you do shows more? Why don't you do shows more? I think the last show that I did was with Jake Lloyd, DZ Brown, and all them at Stubbs.
Oh, shit.
And I believe that was the last, and that was right when I dropped Wolves Clothing, or maybe it was around that time. Yeah, so that was a while ago. That was a good minute ago. And my whole thing is I try to tell people, I'm like, the cats that I look up to or looked up to as far as like performance wise and stuff like that, they always do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do the crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Especially like you said, there's limitations. Like, you know, bringing a slab on stage, that's great. But you couldn't do that if there was a crowd there. Like, you got to figure out how you're going to get it in there. You got to, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So, like...
You have more room to plan around.
You have more room to plan around. Like, you have a whole space, a whole venue. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what I want. Like, I look at cats like Kanye. Like, Kanye, he had, like, mountains on stage. And he had, like, all this stuff. And, like, my stuff is so... Not all of it, but it's the stuff that I would like to perform or, like, go through is very thematic. So, it's like, I want to create that world for you in a space. Like, I want you to walk in and be in the world. Like, I don't want to rap it and then take you there because I'm rapping. I want you to go there and actually get an experience and be like, yo, he did Wolves Clothing.
Like, and actually feel the music.
Yeah, like he did Wolves Clothing and the theme was like a sheep going into a thrift store and then, you know, getting shot outside the thrift store by some wolves. Like, I want to actually do that. Like, I want to be able to have the whole venue look like a thrift store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't do that.
But my only thing with virtual concerts and live streams is the hard part about that is actually like being able to make artists money. Because
facts,
depending, unless it's like a big company that's sponsoring, paying for everything, paying you to come and do that, I feel like it's pretty difficult to do that, like to like make a living. Just because like before COVID, artists' main way of making money was through merch at concerts, you know. So,
but the thing is like, how many cats were really making like a bag though, performing?
That's true.
In Austin, I'm pretty sure some cats were, but I feel like for the most part, most of these venues they were not about like helping out the artists. They were not. Like, they were just like, all right, yeah, you can come perform. Yeah, you can make, you know, we'll take a certain percentage off of what the bar, like, those are the good ones that are like, hey, you can get a certain percentage of the bar. Like, those are the good ones. But some of the other ones are just kind of like, yo, you're just going to come here, you're going to rap, and then we're not even going to really do the sound good for you.
They give you a shitty day in the week.
Yeah, and then you're out, bro. And that's fine. Like, that's okay to, like, do the legwork. But it gets to a point where you have these acts who I feel like in Austin, like, there are some superstars who should be getting paid, like,
to perform
handsomely for this, because they're packing out these shows, they're doing all these things, like, they should be getting paid handsomely. So it's like, I get your point on like how the artist's going to get paid. Like the big name artists, is going to be hard for them to get paid. But I think for the smaller artists, if you can find the right team and you can get the right setup and everything, I feel like it could really grow into something that could be beneficial for you down the line. Because like you said, with the merch and all that, if you can figure out a way how to incorporate that into your, your virtual show, that right there could definitely make you some money. For sure, for sure.
And yeah, that definitely will be interesting to see how everything plays out, because it does seem like everybody's just trying to go back to normal.
You can't.
Yeah, I feel like everything's gonna.
Our numbers are on the rise in Austin. They're on the rise again.
Especially with the winter coming out.
Yeah, because then you're not gonna know the difference between the flu and COVID.
So that's gonna be worse. The argument and everything's gonna be a lot worse. Yeah. So, it's I don't like to assume or even pretend to think that I know what's gonna happen next, because this whole year's been unpredictable.
No, it's been very unpredictable. Like I had told you, like, had I went to Japan when I wanted to, like in February, like I was sitting there on the ticket. I was looking at it every day. I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, bro, like my birthday coming up. I'm about to be 30, bro. Yo, the ticket to Japan, it's like $600. And she was like, oh, okay. But here's the thing is, she was in nursing school. So like she couldn't take off to go with me. So my plan was I was going to leave, like, I would have left here on February 18th. I would have landed there on February 19th.
Very close to
I would have landed there in February 19th. I would have landed there on my birthday. And I was going to stay until like March 3rd or something like that.
Okay.
So I was going to stay for a good minute. I was like, yo, bro, I'm going to do it. I was like, oh, it's only $600, bro. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. But then I started feeling guilty because I was like, dang, bro, she can't come with me. And then I don't want her to be like jealous, because she's going to be like, dang, bro, like you went to a whole nother country without me. Yeah. I'm stuck back here doing like nursing school stuff. Like, this is not fun. Like you left me, so I didn't want to be that person. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to not be selfish, and I'm going to wait. And then, bam, everything happened. And I was like, I
mean, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Is that still on the list of plans for hopefully next year or so on?
Yeah, like if other countries want to have us, because I know not a lot of the countries want to have us, because we messed up. We messed up this year. So
we messed up 4 years ago.
We're grounded. So maybe if things open up, like for sure, that's on the list of places to go, especially for music related things as well. But also like vacation stuff. We talked about like, hey, if it opens up, we might go twice, or whatever. But that, and then we really talked about going to Disney World again. I don't know why. I just been having this like urge. I don't know if because I work with kids or what it is, but I just been like, yo, man, like, I want to go to Disney.
You been to Disney World?
Yeah, we went in like 2015, and going as an adult is way cooler than going as a kid, because you don't have to there's no curfew. Like you
stay out all night.
Yeah, you can stay out all night if you want. Like you could do whatever, you go wherever you please, stand in whatever line you want to stand in.
There's no last call, is there?
Yeah, huh?
I don't know if they're allowed to drink there. Or...
Oh yeah. I mean, there's certain places where you can, but I don't think it's like the whole like
drink anywhere you want.
I think it's like Epcot. Like you can go to Epcot and they have like you can try like beers from like all over the world or like something like that.
That's cool.
And you can just go there like and just get wasted and then go to the other parks if you want to. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
That's cool. Well, I'm glad I never went as a kid, because I'll enjoy it as an adult.
Oh no, you'll enjoy it as an adult for sure. Like I mean, it depends. Like some people are like, oh, I don't want to go there just to stand in line, but it's like, I'm chilling, I'm vibing. Like, you meet some interesting people.
It definitely seems like it's an experience of a lifetime. Like,
yeah, like me and my wife, we were in line. There was like this 8-year-old kid just there without his parents, just in line. And we were like, bro, what are you doing? We were like, bro, where are your parents? He was like, oh, my mom and dad are down there. And we're like, and you're just in line by yourself? And he's just like, he's like, yeah. We were like, all right. So we were just like talking to this like 8-year-old kid who's just in line. He's just vibing. We're all vibing. You know what I mean?
That sounds like my daughter. That is great. That's funny. So, since you said you have traveled a lot in your lifetime,
yeah.
Are there any favorite places that you've been to that you will want to keep going to for many, many years to come?
Besides Japan, because that's whatever. Like me and my wife already talked about, like, yo, we're gonna retire, we're gonna get a house in the countryside, like by some mountains, and we're just gonna be out there living it up. So besides that, Italy. It's probably going to be a tie between Italy or Spain. Okay. I'm not sure which one. They both have great food. They both have great beaches. The culture in both, in some of it, is very similar. So I do want to go to Spain. I want to experience that again. I think as an adult. I experienced it as like a teenager, but I want to go again as an adult and see like what that's like. Like specifically like Barcelona and stuff like that. Yeah.
That would be really cool. I've never gone to another. I've gone to Mexico growing up as a kid and that was alone just an experience, even as an adult. But I think the number one place that I would want to go as far as other countries would be Greece.
Ooh, my pops has been there. I haven't been to Greece specifically, but my pops has been. Yeah. He said it was tight.
I had taken a class on like on build, like I forget what it was. It was like some sort of art class, but it was talk about like architecture and buildings and stuff, and it talked all about the Greece buildings and the old ass buildings that are still standing today.
Yeah,
like
that's the groundwork
right
there.
That makes me want to go check them out in person. Like
yeah.
Shit that's been standing for a long time, bro. Like, but not only that, but also like the whole like Greek mythology and everything that comes with it. Cause
it's it's crazy. Like as a kid, I didn't appreciate it because like a military family. So like I moved around a lot, not a lot, but so I was born in Germany, lived there till I was 2, and then we moved to North Carolina for like 9 years. Left North Carolina, went back to Germany, stayed there for like 4.5, almost 5 years, whatever. Then we moved to Texas. We moved to Killeen. And then I was there for a little bit. Then we moved to Temple, Texas. Then moved from Temple, Texas to moving to Austin.
I'm already tired.
Yeah, so now, I'm saying Austin is the stop now, but now I'm thinking about packing up and going somewhere else. But like, I've always been like, that's how like it's been, ingrained in me to be on the go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm in a place for too long.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm in a place for too long, then I'm just like, all right, cool. I got to see what else is out there. Like I got to go experience something new. But as a kid, like going to like Italy, going to Spain, going to like Switzerland, going to like all these places in Europe, like it's just kind of like whatever, because like there it's kind of like it's your backyard. You know what I mean? Kind of like how here it's like going to New York, going to California. Yeah. Like to us as Americans, it's just like, okay, it is what it is. But to a foreigner, they're like, what, you've been to New York? What, you've been to California? And, and we don't ever think nothing about it. So when I was living there, I didn't think anything about it. But now as an adult, I'm just like, dang, man, that actually was kind of cool. Like, especially like living in Germany, like, granted there's still some racist people in Germany. There's still like, there's still all that stuff, but it's just like when you go downtown to like where I used to live, like you see like all these like statues and monuments, and you drive out like not even that far from where we were, you see like castles, and it's like, bro, there's castles, like just like real life castles that are just out here just chilling.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
Did you pick up the language at all?
So in 6th and 7th grade, you have to learn German. Like you have to take it as a class. Yeah, you have to take it as a class. So I used it like there, but then you get to a certain age and you think you're too cool for like learning and education, so you're just like, whatever, this is stupid. Yeah, this is stupid. So you just kind of just blocked it out, and plus it's like a really aggressive sounding language, so it just everyone sounds angry even when they're not angry. So I kind of just pushed it out. There are times though, like if I'm out, like if I hear something, like I kind of know what it means. Like there's certain words that I might pick up on, but like other than that, but
all I've known is Guten Tag, and that's it.
Yes.
In the beginning, when we started recording this in the first season, we actually had like one German fan that was like commenting on our stuff and greetings from Germany. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I know I've met Russians, and I know that's a very aggressive type of people too. Like, they're very emotional and very like strong.
And then you get some drink in them too, just like Germans. You get some drink in them, and they're either gonna love you or they're going to hate you.
Yeah, that's all an extreme.
They love you or they're gonna hate you.
So I would love to go out there and party with a Russian or German in their country, until they try to probably kill me, or I don't know.
I'm trying to learn Japanese right now. Well, okay, so it's been off and on for years. Because ACC surprisingly has Japanese. Oh, sure. Yeah, they have Japanese 1 through 4. So in my undergrad, I went to Houston Tillotson. So I took Japanese 1 and 2, and I tried to take it as a summer course, which was the dumbest thing that I probably have ever done. Like people were like, oh, I made some terrible choices in college. That was probably the worst choice that I made in college, was trying to take Japanese 1 and 2. not knowing the language before taking the class. So I passed Japanese 1 somehow. It was like, 6-week course or something like that. So I passed Japanese 1, got to Japanese 2. I got maybe a week and a half into Japanese 2, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." The professor brought out like the classifieds and was like, "You guys are gonna look for jobs, and I want you to translate the job description, how much it makes, all of that." And I was like, "Fam, what?" So I never came back. So then fast forward to last year, I was like, "All right, cool." So I took that class in 2012. Because I just needed to, credits to graduate in December. So fast forward to 2019, 7 years later, taking Japanese 1, same professor.
Oh shit!
Same professor. She's like, Jetty-san? And I'm like, "What's up, O-sensei?" I'm like, "What's up, O-sensei?" I'm back up in here again. So it's Japanese 1 was a breeze. Bam, did it. Funny. Japanese 2, going to Japanese 2, right? Same professor. We got to, how you got to get up in class. Like, it only really happens in community colleges where you got to get up in front of the class and talk about who you are, whatever. So I get up there, I talk about why I'm taking the class. And she goes, "You look really familiar." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I dropped your class like 7 years ago. I'm back though." So, so I took that. I got pretty far in that class, but I really started to see that the difference in teaching styles. And I was not a fan of her teaching style. It was kind of like, you do everything on your own. I'm not really going to check if you're doing it right or wrong, but only when the test comes. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me, because if I fail the test, I'm not going to know why until after the test, which I didn't fail any tests or anything, but it was just like, it was a very intense course just for it to be like,
I would imagine so,
two days a week, you know what I mean? And it's like with the full-time work schedule and everything like that, it was like, I didn't really have time to get much done. So I was like, all right, cool. So I ended up just leaving that alone and just trying to learn on my own, which has been helpful. I kind of need that structure though of like a classroom. So I'm thinking that maybe if things are better when January rolls around, I'm attempt it again and see how that goes.
And more in class situation. Are they doing in class now?
I don't think they are doing it in class.
Because I was trying to go back in the spring, but I have no idea what's going on with school.
Yeah, it's all just internet stuff, which is fine if it's just internet stuff, but I just need to find that professor, that person who's going to teach it to me the way that I need it to be taught. But yeah, so like I've been learning that, like it's decent, like I'm okay, like I'm not like nowhere near fluent, you know what I mean? But there's certain things that I can read and like I can be like, "Oh, I know what that means," or whatever. Yeah.
That's cool. Does that make you like being and working with a lot of people in Japan and being over there? Does that make you like a huge fan of like the whole? Because I know there's a sort of like a weird trend that's built over the years, and I'm talking about K-pop and specifically a weird obsession over the culture.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you're familiar with or even.
Yeah, no, so we call those people, well, not just K-pop, but people that are like really into Japan who actually like try to be Japanese, call them weebs. So it did start as a weeb fantasy. Like, I'm 30, so how old are you?
26, turning 27 in 2 weeks.
Okay, so you kind of missed the wave on the original Toonami. Like the original, because
you talking about
you would have had to have been, so I was like 9. Well, you might have.
I mean, I started when I went during the week too, on Saturdays. And with the little robot guy.
With Tom. Okay, yeah. So when Toonami first started, I want to say I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And it was the first time that anime, besides Pokemon, was on TV.
This is when it was right before Adult Swim.
Adult Swim wasn't even, Adult Swim wasn't even a thought at this point in time. Yeah, it wasn't even a thought. So it started with that and watching anime and like going to school, talking about it with your friends, like then with Pokemon, like Pokemon being banned in schools, like you couldn't even have Pokemon cards in school, like cats was getting like detention and stuff. And, so it started like with all that kind of stuff. And with everything, like I said, if I like it, I'm going to do the research. So as a kid, I started doing research. I started watching like documentaries about Japan and started seeing like how like advanced they were as far as technology.
Okay. So
and like
you've already been investing too.
Yeah, so I started doing all that kind of stuff. So I had already like done all that. So it did start with anime. That was the obsession. And then it kind of turned into more of an appreciation outside of just the anime, like outside of all that kind of stuff. And then, I had the opportunity to go in like 2008 when I graduated high school. My mom was like, hey, I know a guy that lives over there. He's a pretty cool dude. Like, if you want to go over there, like as your graduation gift, we can send you and you could just be over there. And I was like, well, that's cool. But then at the same time, it's like, I'm not really doing my own thing because I got to abide by somebody else's rules. I'm living in their house. Like, I can't come and go as I please. Like, and that to me, like, that's not how I want to experience this. I want to experience this. Yeah, I want to be a free moving, independent body. Like, I don't want to do that. So, of course, with that came more studying and like more like looking at the culture, more trying to understand, like, because the whole thing about respect over there is like, it's real. Like, so like just understanding like what is appropriate when you go over there, what is not appropriate, like what is it that I do as an American that I can do here that I cannot do there, like so stuff like that.
I've read that even like there's a whole bunch of stuff to go with just chopsticks alone that you can't do, or else
you can't put them facing vertically, because that's a bad omen. You can't do that,
and you can't use them to grab like other stuff or stuff like that.
So you can't use your left hand with them. You always have to use your right hand with them.
I'm left-handed. I'm out of there.
Yeah, you always have to use your right hand with them and stuff like that. Like, it's always polite, like when you're done, to set them on top, like horizontally over the bowl, like all that, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like just learning all that, like it wasn't a culture shock going over there, but just like how crazily like nice people were. And it kind of makes you think like, were they just being nice because it's culturally, or were they just being nice or whatever? Because like we got there and like we were kind of lost, I guess you could say, when we got off the bus trying to find our hotel, and we were like in Tokyo, we were like in Shibuya, and some dude, he might have been like in his 40s or something, he saw us looking at the phone, he just walks up to us and he's like, where are you trying to go? And we were like, fam, we are trying to get here. And he's like, okay, follow me. And we're like, all right. So homie like leads us all the way to our hotel, like just because.
Out of generosity.
Yeah, and we're like, what is happening? Like, what do you mean? Like, had this been anywhere else, they would have just like been like, all right, whatever. But yeah, so like all of this stuff that I've been doing kind of just leads into that appreciation of, Japan, and like wanting to go back and like carry on conversations with people and like, just actually immerse myself, and not look at it as like a tourist, you know what I mean?
Actually be there and associate with the locals.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That's something that definitely would be intimidating to me alone, because I, first and foremost, I do not know anything as far as the language goes. So I would have to pull out Google Translate or something.
The only thing that you have to know is arigatou gozaimashita, like saying thank you, and then do itashimashite. Like, those are the things that you really have to know, like how to say thank you, you're welcome.
So manners is very, very crucial.
Yeah, and then sumimasen, because that's like excuse me. So like there's people everywhere. So like if sumimasen, like you know what I mean. So like you got to know that kind of stuff, or just to get somebody's attention, because at the train station, like sumimasen, and then.
Is there a lot of people out there that I don't know how many people you've been around with over there, like strangers, as far as what? Is English a common language?
Oh, if you're in the big city, most people over like, I don't know, like most people like high school age and over know English.
Okay.
For the most part. Like they know something.
But if you were to go to a small town, you'd probably beat shit out of that.
Which happened. Like we were out in Osaka, and we went to a restaurant and nobody there spoke English. But the good thing about it is how they do their restaurants. They put like models of the food in the front of the restaurant. So when you are outside, if you don't know how to say it, you can just point to it. And then they'll be like, oh, you want that? Okay, cool. We'll go make that. You know what I mean?
That's how it was for us. Because last year for my birthday, me and Troy, which is my co-host, we went to Chicago and we stayed in Chinatown. And the first place we went to, we're hungry to just go to the closest place. We went to some Chinese restaurant.
Did y'all get Peking duck?
I honestly do not know what we got. There was only pictures on the menu, like you said, like they just had pictures. And it was funny because like he ended up picking what he thought was an appetizer. And we're both eating it as I'm eating my dish already or whatever. And then turns out that was his dish.
Oh.
And so we waited again and had to wait for a whole new dish because it's just the miscommunication part that makes it very difficult. Cause
I went to Chinatown out in New York, which was crazy. And we went on a food tour.
Oh,
and
shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. We got to try a bunch of stuff. And we had the Peking duck, which was crazy because I had never had duck before that. I was just like, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll eat anything. Like, I've never been picky, but I'm just like, ooh, duck. Okay, I wonder what that tastes like. Man, that stuff's good.
Is it?
It's good. Like, you know how people talk about like the crispy skin on chicken? That's kind of like how the duck is, but it's not like... it's just hard. It's not even fried, you know what I mean? But it's just the skin is like crispy. Like, it's great. Yeah.
Man, now I want to go to other countries right now. God, I'm gonna get some promotion sponsors to pay for this.
Oh, for sure. Get HEB, man. See if HEB. Yeah.
For real, man. I quit a year or two ago, so it's hard. I may have burned my own bridges.
Oh, okay. No, that's how I am with Target, bro. Like I love going into Target, but I could never work there again because no. They put me on the blacklist. It's all good.
God. So now, as we're reaching towards the end of the show, like I said in previous episodes too, we usually like to end on a positive note, something positive, something good that's happened to you. The week, the day in your lifetime, anything like that. Is there something that you would like to share with people?
Something positive that has happened to me recently. Okay, yeah. So like, I want to say 2 weeks ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I went out to Fort Worth and I got to visit my homie and see his new house and everything out there, and it was really cool because like, I've known this dude since 2005.
Oh, okay.
So I've known this dude for half my life.
Oh, shit.
Which is crazy. So he's like the only person from like high school that I still communicate with, and like we used to rap together and everything. And it was just really cool to be able to like go out there and be like, yo, bro, like this is your house. Like this is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's the most positive thing that's happened. Being able to see the homie and like
thriving
thriving and doing well, and like, you know, and being able to realize like that our relationship, regardless of like where we live, because like, you know, we've lived in different places. Like, you know, we used to live in Killeen, and then he left and went to Wiley College out in I don't even know where that. It's out there and somewhere in Texas, in like the middle of nowhere. Far. Yeah, the middle of nowhere. And then, you know, I was in Austin and everything, but we still like link up every now and then and stuff like that. But it's just like, as adults at the same age, like it's crazy, like looking back and being like, bro, like we've been friends for like 15 years, dog.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What part of Fort Worth is he in?
I don't.
My brother recently moved out there, probably about a year now.
Okay, yeah, this was my first time ever being in Fort Worth. Like I always go to Dallas, so I never go to Fort Worth. I always thought they were the same thing, and then people were like, "No, bro, you can't say that. It's not the same."
Correct you all the time.
Yeah, it's not the same. So I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, it was my first time out there. But yeah, so I think that's that right there would probably be the thing that I've been thinking about the most, is just that feeling of like being with your people, you know.
That's part of the fruits of life. Like as you grow older, you see everybody turn out how life that they led turns out for them or whatever.
What about you though? What's some positive things?
I don't have anything crazy, but one good positive for me will be like I mentioned to you before we had started recording, was this is technically my first time ever doing like a one-on-one sort of deal, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was pretty nervous. I was telling my girlfriend before, I was like, I am nervous because I feel like I'm pretty awkward as a person.
No, I love to talk, so you got the right person.
Hey, so it worked out perfectly. But it is cool. Like this is an episode that I was looking forward to a lot, and it worked out great. And I'm trying to do so much with the podcast and everything that I have in my mind and all the ideas. And like I just had a meeting earlier with the homie Vintage J. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Oh yeah, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot that we are trying to play right now, and trying to just put out there. But I am grateful that this is still going on, and I'm still being able to make this happen and have people like yourself come in and kick it and just chill.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
But that is my positive note.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to let the audience know before we take off?
Support me on Bandcamp.
Yes, Bandcamp is very important. Ooh. Any artist that you could find, download Bandcamp first and look up all your favorite local artists, anybody that you know. And that's the best way to support them, because obviously God knows Spotify, Apple, nobody pays enough.
Yep, so support me on Bandcamp. The easiest way to find any of my music or anything that I do, whether it's photography or any of that, is www.curbsidejones.com. Everything is there. My music, press, photography, videos, whatever it is that you're looking for, it is there. Yeah, and that's it, man. Just check out my stuff. If you're into it, after you listen to some music.
Floating in between, out now.
Floating in between, out right now. Dropped on Monday. Doing pretty well. Last time I checked, it was #1 for best selling right now in Austin on Bandcamp. For hip hop, so that was cool.
I always forget that it's only 3 records. So I'm like, I'm like, God, I wish it was longer. But it leads me to play your other music too, which is just even better.
Replay value. But yeah, so check that out. Check out my music. And just be safe out here in these times, you know?
Yes, be very considerate, be safe, be aware of who you're around with. There's too much to even talk about or even try to vent about right now, but yes, guys, this is IDK This Perfect. I am Mario from the South Side.
Curbside Jones.
And we are out.
Yo, 1 2 1 2. Yo, 1 2 1 2. Yo. Hey, shout, never kill eight. Keep that static out your fabric. Survival tactics, live the masses like Atlas. No hat trick, reach for creep, increasing its forces. Time, no wait for dead stop. The resell got you dead live. Too late to break the headline. Pop says, see this path will lead you. Pray away the evils, but in the dirt is where they leave you. The clan burning down the steeples. Mom was a team when she faced a cop with a loaded magazine. Snatch it out of Mustang. Kill they loads won't be having things. Eight shall never kill eight. Keep that malice out your closet. Pause it, peep the composite. Callous logic. Can't applaud it. It's inside the deposit too philanthropic. We ain't going broke now. I never lost it, too ill to stop it. We can't lose hope now. Drama with the Patronus charm. When Guardian Leviosa, when Guardians where my bros are. Elevate from where my lows are. Lost a few along the way, so this rap shit I can't take for granted. I planted the seeds, planet grow through granite on a planet that's painted like Nico in 93. Hope my soul can be free. Touch people close to me. This where I'm supposed to be. Ape shall never kill ape, so change your mind state. Ape shall never kill ape. Hey yo, rewind the tape. Feel like Nico in 93. Hope my soul can be free. Touch people close to me. This where I'm supposed to be. Ape shall never kill ape, so